Hello girls, gays and theys. I have a confession, which I'm really embarrassed to admit, but I haven't dated in 4 years. And I don't really know why, but it's really got me wondering whether I'm doing this queer thing right. Whatever I am doing, guys, it is not working.
Society loves boxes, clean lines, clear definitions, and as much as we rebel against them, we also quietly try to fit inside them. Because we all want to belong. We want to be seen. We want to be understood. And I feel this pressure to fit my label, to live up to the image, the culture, the idea of what I'm supposed to be as a queer person. I think sometimes I confuse being different with being broken. This video is about that struggle, about what it means to feel different, about wading through the mess and the questions to find a version of peace that feels like mine. I'm still learning how to accept my own kind of queerness. And if you've ever felt like you didn't quite belong, queer or not, this journey is for you too.
I feel very lost in life. That was kind of the motivation of this YouTube channel anyways. It was to document how lost I feel and hopefully the journey that I'm going to take to getting myself out of this. I want to celebrate queerness and I want to show up authentically and I want to create a queer space online, and I'm just really grateful if anyone wants to come along on this self-discovery journey with me. Without further ado, part 1, the pressure to be a proper queer. I think when you're part of a minority culture, you have this desperate need to feel seen and to feel connected to other people like you, because it is a horrifically lonely experience. That loneliness really compels you to find other people like you. With queer people, there's this idea that to be authentically queer, you have to be loud, you have to be quite political, and I love those queers. And they are the people who have really furthered the movement. Like, we need them. But I don't always feel like I fit into that category. It's really hard, actually, just finding that balance between you want to showcase your queerness, obviously when it's safe to do so, because you want other queers to know you're queer so that you can find your community, 1, and 2, potentially find a partner. That's like top 3 reasons why I shaved my head, because I wanted to signal to other female queers that I'm down for business.
So I chose to be more visible. And then I ran away to the Alps. Classic oons. Have you ever felt like you have to choose between different parts of yourself? Like each version of you is pulling in a different direction and you don't know which one to follow, which one deserves to lead.
I like nature, and I just want to hang out in the mountains all the time. In case you didn't know, this is definitely not where you find queer people. Not a queer hotspot. I have a question for you. Where do you hang out with your gay friends? Because for me, any time that I have actually managed to create a queer community, where do we hang out? Bars, clubs, concerts, nightlife. Our culture exists primarily in nightlife. In her video, Rowan Ellis points out that, according to Travel Gay, in London, Manchester, Brighton, Birmingham, Liverpool, and Newcastle, there are a total of 95 bars and 51 clubs, but only 4 cafes and 2 restaurants. It is hard for other queers to find community, the ones that don't fit into those spaces. Part 2. Loneliness and alienation fatigue. I know I talk about lesbian loneliness a lot, but trying to overcome it while still staying aligned with myself, the version of me that thrives in nature and not nightclubs, feels really impossible sometimes. Well, I wish I could travel and be outdoorsy and hike and do all these things without the constant fear that I'm gonna have to eventually go back to the city, or just be alone for the rest of my life. It's just gotten to a point now where I just feel like there's not much hope for me, so I just give up and I just don't try anymore. I don't know. Am I overthinking this? Yes, definitely. But how can you not overthink things when you are constantly the only one of your kind in every setting that you are in? This year, I chose to be in the mountains, and watching Pride from the sidelines has been a little bit more painful than I anticipated. And I feel like I really missed out. It's weird because the last 3 years I've been in places where I could go to like a vibrant Pride parade, and every time I'm like a little bit disappointed by Pride anyways. Because I always have such high expectations of it, because I feel like I have this huge disconnect with my queerness. So every time I go and connect, I have the opportunity to connect with it, 90% of the time it falls short because it's never as fulfilling or epic as I expect.
My relationship with queer culture is complicated. Sometimes it feels like a kind of addiction. I crave it, the energy, the visibility, the belonging, but every time I take a hit, it never feels quite as good as I hoped. And I think I've started to understand why. I think it's because I've been looking to other people, to queer spaces, to queer eyes, to tell me that I'm real, to validate my identity, to make it make sense. But if your sense of self depends on being reflected back, you're always at the mercy of the mirror.
I know I should just get over myself and get on the apps and try and find some lesbians. But I'm also so traumatized from the apps. I don't want to regress on the progress that I've made of building up my queer confidence and coming to terms and being at ease with my queer self. I just don't know how to bridge this gap between being authentically myself and finding my queer community. But also navigating different cultures and communities before you're properly integrated is kind of hard sometimes. And with this whole gay thing, you have to just be really careful. I just feel like if you slide it in too early, most people don't care, especially in the circles that I'm in, they don't care, but it's also just something that is an alienating factor for you or for them, and it's really hard to gauge that sometimes. Or, on the flip side, it is like a sort of tokenization thing where they find it really interesting and they find it really cool, and you're just a little bit tokenized. That it just, you don't want to admit to people that you're different. It's not something that you usually want to do.
But Oons, hear me out. What if being different is your superpower? What if everything you've been through, the loneliness, the confusion, the alienation from people you love, what if that's made you stronger, smarter, more empathetic, more you? I think every human faces this moment when they have to decide if their pain is going to make them or break them.
Part 3. Reframing queer authenticity. Sometimes I don't feel queer enough because I'm not out there with a massive pride flag at a pride parade flaunting my queerness, and I don't have a girlfriend. Also because, like I said, I'm very often the token lesbian and I'm around straight people like literally 99% of the time. So I have to adapt.
Maybe being authentically queer isn't about dating or being visible. Maybe it's about being honest, even when you're unsure. Queerness doesn't need to be loud or validated to be real. And maybe that's true for more than just queerness. Maybe whoever you are, whatever you're carrying, you're allowed to show up as you are, even if you're still becoming.
I would love to hear from you in the comments where you feel the most like yourself and whether that correlates to queer culture or not. Where do you feel the most yourself and where do you feel the most seen, even if no one else sees it yet? How do you show up as a queer person?
So, what I'm starting to understand is this. The search for identity isn't something that you complete. It's something you carry every day with every version of yourself that asks to be seen. I struggle with community.
It's lonely.
I'm struggling with romantic connection. But no matter what the struggle is, only I can show up for myself. I'm realizing I am my own and only guide. No one else can lead me, and I wouldn't want them to, because no one knows me like I do. Only I can define my queerness, not the culture, not the crowd, not the crush. And though the road may be long and uncertain, I know now the only way out is through.